Okay, this is a very interesting question, which is, let me put it here. Okay, how does a residency interview go around? Now, programs are still trying to work this out. In the past, you would have like a half day of interviews, certainly with the PD and then some faculty members. Um, it's going to be quite similar, though I was listening to some of the open houses and, some YouTube videos that AMC and I think ACP have also put out, and some programs have put out. The virtual interviews, I do not believe it's going to be longer than 30 minutes long. It's very difficult to sit talking into a camera for 30 minutes. Group meetings are different. You can look here and there, but a one-on-one interview, I don't think it's going to be longer than 30 minutes. Some programs, I think there was one at Utah, they said that there would be like a 15-minute interview with the program director and then a 30-minute interview with the associate program director, and plus or minus faculty. I think they did, I'm not sure if they really had other faculty members interviewing also, but they were basically talking about how that worked very well with the schedule for everyone. So that might be one format. Another might be, I think that it's not 20 minutes maybe with a faculty member. It's going to be somewhere in that range. It's certainly not going to be 1 hour for sure. So so those are the usual formats that I've come across. We will kind of know more about it once the interview season starts, and kind of getting close to it. I would recommend that if there is a specialty that you're interested in, a subspecialty, and if you want to meet with a faculty member of that specialty, for example, if you want to talk, if you have an interest in hematology, oncology, and you want to meet with someone, you can make a special request to the program coordinator, and I'm pretty sure they will arrange a Zoom meeting, maybe not that day, but at a later time, to talk with them. And I think it's a good way, if you genuinely have interest in that specialty, you can really talk with this faculty person, faculty member, and express your interest both in the program and in that specialty. So I think that's another opportunity for you all, but I think that's something you will have to request. Then the next question is this. It's about, is it okay to take notes during the interview or keep it conversational? Certainly, you should not make notes and read out your notes or questions from like a notepad or a book in front of you. And you can make notes. If a program says, okay, we have 3 months of clinic or 9 months of clinic, 9 months of inpatient, 3 months of clinic. So if you want, you can write it down if you really wish. They will kind of give you a lot of handouts like PDFs and everything, so that should have the information. But you can like certainly jot down something if you need to, but don't read like from your list of questions that you have prepared beforehand. At least don't show it, show that that's what you're doing. All right, we're going to go to the interview questions. Okay, this was an interesting question, which is here. How to structure an answer to the question, any particular format? So no, there isn't really any structure. I mean, if you keep looking in books, that are out there, not necessarily for medicine, but any other interview, there might be some structure like, like answer to the point, explain the rationale and everything. But I really don't think that's, that amount of structuring every answer is needed. But the thing is, if you can practice and at least the common questions that are are expected. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are you looking for in a program? Or tell me about yourself. If you can at least practice what you want to deliver as a result of that question, I think that's fine, but don't. Uh, it's going to be very difficult to kind of, again, you can prepare the text to all the questions as best as you can, to the commonly used questions, and work on that. But a lot of questions that you're going to be asked are you need to answer at the spot. So so there won't be really any time to kind of decide on a structure and everything. Just answer to the point and just answer as best as you can. If you need a little time to for to think of the answer, that's fine. um, and this is something that programs are recognizing more and more, that some of the applicants are introverts. They need just a little time to think of an answer, and that's perfectly fine. Programs are known to ask, do you need a little time to think about it, and that's all okay. The clock's ticking, but if that's how you answer questions concisely and precisely, then that's all good. And that's why, again, I keep stressing practice, practice, practice. They'll kind of make you fast. Okay, so again, answer to the point. Don't go beyond what's being asked. And if you feel you are, then and if you are, then ask them, do you want to hear more, or should I continue? Something like that. How to best convey your excitement and interest in a program virtually, just like this. Talk with a smile, don't be tense. I've seen some interviews, some of these open houses where people are very like looking at the camera, or judging every word that is being said. Just relax, be calm. Again, with practice, your stress level will go down. Prepare yourself. The good thing is you're going to be in a familiar environment, maybe your home or an apartment or whatever. So use that to your advantage. Smile gently. You don't need to laugh at every joke that they make, but just make yourself like you're open to having a conversation with the other person, and that you're not like, you're kind of hiding something. And don't sweat. Don't, if you want the air conditioner working, it's getting cold anyway, but if you don't want to sweat, then keep the room cool or something, I would say. Tell them about why you think the program is a good fit for you, that you have researched enough about the program, the location, the YouTube videos, the Twitter exchange of information, and why you feel maybe from your family perspective that's a good program. So this is how you convey excitement. You're personalizing what you're looking for to that program. So if you want to, for example, and you can kind of, do a different way. I'll give you an example. So when I first came to the US, I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sure you know, big city. And then so when I had to go to a program that had like a small town hospital, or like a hospital in the suburbs, they would ask me, hey, you've been in Atlanta for so many months. What do you think you can be in a small town? Then I would say, yeah, I'm tired of looking at the traffic, the rush and everything. So I want to take it easy and I want to go to a smaller town. But then when I would go to interview at a university program or or a big town like in Brooklyn or Philadelphia, then I would say, which are bigger cities, then I would tell them, no, I've lived in Atlanta, so I'm used to living in a big city. So yeah, I think it'll work out for me. So you can kind of change your answers a little bit. You're not lying again. You're just kind of making the best. You're just saying to the program how you will fit into the program, and that's all good. Okay. Let's see how many more questions. I think we have 5 or 6 more questions, and I'll take some more questions from you all. Questions to ask the PD or the interviewer about the program. So there's you can ask anything. You can ask anything about the program, anything about how has the hospital, the services been affected by COVID, if you want to ask. There's going to be a lot of information that will already be shared with you, like the structure of the structure of the rotations, the call schedule, the number of vacation days and everything. So that will all be available. So I would not suggest repeating those questions to the interviewer. It will look like you haven't prepared yourself well, or you're not paying attention. So avoid those things. Talk about things that matter to you. Talk about things like well-being and burnout, or how is the program, what have they done to improve well-being among residents. So there are tons of questions. What are the research, how does the program help in research? How does the program help in you getting a fellowship? You can ask what's the program going to do in the next year. Are there any changes that were made? So so there are lots and lots of questions you can ask. I would highly suggest that you ask, you kind of generate a list of questions that come to your mind when you review their website, the information they send you, and ask different questions to different interviewers, and see if that can work out. I think it will. How to address gaps in education during interview, and telerotation importance. So all I'm going to say is just be honest. Just explain what you did, how you did, why you did that, and more importantly, how it made you a better person. Not necessarily a better clinician. Some of us take some time off, especially if you're immigrating to a new country. Maybe there might be a little gap for family reasons, maybe illness in the family, those kind of things. So just explain, just be honest, say what you did, say how it's made you a better person. Maybe now because, for example, you could say, because I realize, well-being is important to me, or I realize that, family is important to me. And those are all good things that you can state. So just be honest. That's all I could say. All right, let's look at this one. How to represent yourself as an interesting candidate apart from medicine. Talk about your hobbies, talk about your interests. So that's why when I focus on these personal statement and CV reviews, I'm sure some of you whom I've worked with, you would have noted that I do ask you to expand on your hobbies and interests, because it's a nice way to connect with the interviewer. So instead of writing on your hobbies, I like reading books, write, I like reading science thrillers by, I don't know, Robin Cook or something like that, So if there is someone who's a book-loving person who shares that same interest with you, they can connect. And that's good. You need to try and figure out a way to connect with the interviewer. That's difficult, but then, this is why these questions are being asked. What do you do outside medicine? How do you maintain well-being? What kind of support do you, look for? And how do you prevent burnout? They want to know more of you as a person outside medicine. So talking about it in the personal statement, the CV, and, if you get an opportunity to talk about that at the interview, and those are all good ways of showing the unique side of you, showing that you're different than any other applicant. Okay, so coming here, let's look at the next question. How to, where you go? Okay, how to answer questions professionally and friendly at the same time. Now, yes, so just like I said, just, just have a very positive outlook. You don't need to, like I said, laugh at their every joke or anything that they're saying. Just answer to the point, and show again that you do stuff outside medicine. That way, they want to know that you have a life outside medicine. So, and so, you can't just like, for example, there was a CV that I was reviewing, and under hobbies and interests, it said, I want to do I have an interest in these diseases like ulcerative colitis and what's it, Crohn's and some other GI diseases. I think that person was very much into internal medicine and GI fellowship. And I kind of said, no, that's not what you have to do. Other hobbies are for extracurricular activities. So that's how you're trying to show, again, I mean, friendliness, you don't have to be friendly with the interviewer. You just have to be polite, professional, answer the questions, and show that you're a good fit for the program. And establishing rapport, again, be kind to them, just like you maintain eye contact by looking at the camera lens. That's a tough one, but have good questions, have interesting questions, and that's all you can do really to kind of build a rapport with them. Don't be intimidating. Don't be anxious. Just keep a calm, gentle smile, and that's it. Yeah, and that again comes with practice. All right, so we have two more questions, and then I'll take the questions from the folks here. Can we request our interviewer to allow us to visit the hospital for a tour, second looks? I don't believe so. It's because of the COVID. Like I said, the hospital will just not let you in. And see, the thing is, the programs, the thing that programs have to deal with, that they have to keep it fair for everyone. So they have to apply a uniform set of rules this year. COVID is still not under control. And so they can't allow in-person interviews with some folks, second looks or in-person visits with someone, and they're just not going to do it. You can, if I had the choice to, if I had a program that I really, really wanted to be at, maybe what I could do is if I could have some way of driving there or flying there and just looking at the town and get a feel for, okay, this is where I think I could live and everything. Again, if it's feasible, then only do that. But again, I don't believe you will be able to interact in person with the residents or the residency selection committee, the program director, and anyone. You can maybe, if you have more questions, I guess you can talk with them some more, or like I explained, talk with the faculty member if you have a certain interest in a specialty, and that's all you can really do. So keep that in mind. Everything's going to be virtual, and let's just make the best of it and go from there. All right, tips for behavioral question. All I'm going to say is practice. So what you would do is, so behavioral question are, for example, give me an example that shows me that you're a good team player, or give me an example where you took leadership role. Those are the things that are behavioral questions. Now, and so you just have to prepare beforehand as best as you can. Just look at all the competencies. ACGME has defined all the competencies that are needed for every resident, whether it's communication skills, learning about the health, the practice, learning about how healthcare is delivered in the U.S., or practice improvement. There are like those 6 competencies, 6 or 7. I'm going to review that again, but just see if, and that's how you will be monitored and you will be evaluated throughout your residency. So just see if you can give examples, for those competencies as best as you can. And it kind of boils down to interpersonal skills, communication skills. Those are the only two competencies mainly that they can judge on the, on the virtual interview. And it's all like how you're going to give examples of teamwork, maybe a patient that you saw where you really, really collaborated with the specialists or, other members of the team, or, or that you really spend time talking with the family about, about a patient, or end of life discussions. There's so many examples out there. Okay, so that's the end of my question list that I have here. Let's go back. There were a few questions that are coming up, and let me do this, and I can open up the. You all can speak up if you have questions. So, like I mentioned, should IMGs travel to the U.S.? I answered no, not for interviews alone. If you want to travel, that's fine. But a U.S. address on your CV matter, no, not for this year. that was very clearly, I mean, there's no point. Everything's going to be virtual, so it doesn't matter where you're located. Um, so, uh, so not really. Will U.S. clinic rotations right now improve chances? I mean, it still could. I'm not sure how you're going to get letters so quickly, but it just, it might just at least show that you're still, doing U.S. clinical experience. You're still exposing yourself to the healthcare, to the, to learning about the U.S. healthcare system as best as you can. So, I mean, there's some value in it. I'm not going to say it's going to be super beneficial. Whatever you've done in the past and the letters that you have obtained that you can submit on October 21, that's what's going to count. So if you can, fine. If not, don't sweat about it. How many pixels camera is optimal for interview? Should look into professional cameras. So again, there are a lot of different ones. If I had to recommend, like the one that I'm using is 1080 pixels, 720 pixels is also good enough. The laptop camera is something I would not suggest. The quality is very, very grainy, and it's no fun. I think the smartphones have very good cameras nowadays. So at least 720, 1080 pixels. They're not very expensive. Like the one that I have, I think it's around $80 or so. They're like $60 to $80. You'll get very good quality cameras. You don't need a DSLR or anything like that. Should one travel for step 3 exam to US? Will it give an advantage? Yeah, I mean, if you have your step 3 and you've passed it, yeah, I certainly think it will give it will give you an advantage, because that's yet another thing that they can assess you on, and having a past step 3, I think that's always great to have. How to leverage social media, Twitter, LinkedIn? Yeah, absolutely, go for it. I mean, it's so much interactions going on Twitter, on maybe not LinkedIn. LinkedIn is nice to have a professional profile. I think that's perfectly fine. Twitter, there's so much activity going on. I mean, there are so many groups being created, like an internal medicine group, neurology match group, and everything. So be there, and connect with other people who are also applying this year. The program directors are also, participating in all these like open houses, on being active on Twitter, and so just show that you're a kind of a smart applicant, and you're writing good stuff. Nothing like nothing that would be questionable. You're kind of keeping a very very clean profile. Nothing debatable or questionable on the social media, and you're being professional in your interactions. So instead, if you have a question, you're kind of politely asking them, why do they think this is happening, or so it's these little things that we can kind of judge how professional that person is going to be in their communication skills. Should one interact freely? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, programs are interacting. Programs have, another thing another reason why that would help. You can go, and when you have your interviews, you can say, yeah, I looked at the Twitter feed on your program, and I was really impressed by the social gathering that the residents had, and it looked real fun. And so this way you're telling the program indirectly or directly that you have done your research about the program, even in social media. And that's where programs are posting their information. They cannot update their website every few days. So they're posting all this like fun activities or questions, maybe a teaching session. They're all kind of posting it on Twitter. So that's why I strongly suggest people have a Twitter account, and you should see the amount of interactions happening on Twitter. It's absolutely amazing between applicants and program directors and programs. So it's amazing. Okay, average length of an interview day. So, so we still don't know. I think it's going to be half day at the most. I mean, that's all you can really do. Like I said, interviews, residency tours. Well, the tours, I'm not sure how that's going to happen. I think it's all going to be pre-recorded, so they will have you actually sit through that session. And there will be some time where you can meet the residents and talk with them, like I said, privately. And so how long that's going to be, it's very difficult for me to say. 30 minutes. Like I said, I don't think people can spend more than 30 minutes in front, on Zoom or anything. So that's what it's good. I think half day, no more than half day is what I would expect. Okay, last few questions. Should one link their LinkedIn profile, Twitter page? I'm not sure if you can. If you can, that's great. If not, that's fine too. How do you present yourself if you're not really a person with great hobbies? To then develop hobbies. We still have some time. You have time, about a month and a half. Find something that you're passionate about. So, whether it's blogging, it's music, dance, any cultural, any literary, book reading, anything, and just keep blogging about it, keep writing about it. Like I said, if not, start a Twitter account today and start connecting with people. And you should you should be at least having something unique, something outside medicine that you can very easily talk about and very passionately talk about, whether it's as boring as books sometimes, or or website management, building a website. You have to find, you need to ask yourself, what is that something that you're very passionate about. Okay, roll up telerotation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the telerotations, again, this has been asked many times, and my answer is always the same. Yes, it is a very valid U.S. clinical experience, because this is how medicine is going to be practiced moving forward. A lot of, at least a good chunk of it, will be telemedicine, will be telerotations. So the fact, I think it even gives you an upper edge that you know how to do these telemedicine interviews, and you understand the limitations, you know how to document and everything. So I think it's a good experience. I just posted yesterday on Facebook about they're having these virtual electives now. So the one that I posted was about University of Michigan anesthesiology, but I did a quick search, and there are some internal medicine virtual electives too. I'm not sure if they're open for international medical graduates, but what I'm trying to say, people are starting to do that. And, you can also request that if there is like a morning report or a journal club that you want to attend at a program, that, that if you could join that, that will be great. Again, it shows interest. Be there at that time, just see how the residents are interacting and everything. You can certainly, learn more about the program that way. How many people overall? It's not clear. It might be 2, it might be 4 at the most. That's pretty much it. No one really knows that answer. Typically, like I said, in a regular interview, they're up to like 4 interviewers, 4 or 5. That's it. And that's not going to be. They're not going to have any more time to have the interview. So just that will be enough. And I do believe everyone will be given like a set of questions to be asked. They're trying to standardize this as much as possible. So you will have different questions from different interviewers. If I have to guess it that way, a lot of it will be asked by the PD or the associate program director. But if they are involving faculty, then they will have some questions. They'll be given some questions, if I have to guess, to ask you all. All right, sounds good. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for this Q&A. I hope this was helpful. Do leave any comments if you want to hear before I close the session. And feel free to ask questions on the Facebook group if you have any. And